Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on the old John Deere B. Well, I want to put the little sediment bowl into the gas tank. I'm going to put my antifreeze in. I've actually put the antifreeze in once, and then sure enough, I found out I had a couple leaks. I had to replace this bottom radiator hose, and then sure enough, two of the exhaust manifold bolts. I found out, I didn't even know it, or I would have taken care of it when I put this on. But two of the bolts, this one here and then one over on the other side, they actually screw into water jackets here in the head. So they were leaking, so I had to get them all sealed up. But so I'm gonna put some antifreeze into it. We'll see if it leaks anymore. I also had a leak right here where this well, this here is your top radiator tube coming back, and right here where it bolts onto the top of the block. Kind of surprising. I had a leak kind of wanting to form in the front of that. That's got a brand new gasket on it, and so it was all cleaned off, nice and shiny. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. I was able to take and tighten these up a little bit more, so we'll see if that takes care of that problem. And also in this video, I'm hoping to try and get this thing started and going. So we'll wait and see how that works out. Alrighty, getting the antifreeze put into it. I will say, for such a small tractor, this thing's got a big radiator top on it. You can see I can literally put my whole hand down inside there practically. And so there's the radiator cap, great big thing. Not exactly sure why it's so big, but anyway. Now, this antifreeze I'm putting in is the antifreeze that I actually dumped out of the 4840 when I did that overhaul. It's that John Deere Cool Guard, and so I went ahead and put new Cool Guard into the 48. I saved this here for this B. It'll work perfect for the B. It's not like it needs anything great big and fancy. And this Cool Guard, it's made to run for a long time. So now I want to jump down here below and take a look just to see if we happen to have any leaks possibly forming around that new radiator hose. Well, I've got one leak right there wanting to drip off. Not too sure how well you can see it. Yeah, there it is. You can see it forming. And I've got this clamp. It's one of those draw bolt type clamps. It's actually right there. It's actually pinched together. It can't go any tighter. And so pushing on the side of the hose, I can feel it about right there. Let me see if I can get you up underneath it a little bit better. About right here at the edge of my thumb is where I can feel the end of the steel pipe. So what I may do is grab a regular hose clamp and put around there just to help basically double clamp that. So we'll see if that'll do the trick. Just put another hose clamp on that right here. So far, I think that did the trick. We'll wait and see. I've got maxed out on tightening down, so hopefully I'll have that clamped off and stop that from leaking right there. So, well, I'm going to put the rest of the antifreeze in. We'll see what happens. Alright guys, well, what I didn't show you, I've got all that down there. We're good to go. So far, no more leaks. After I put the antifreeze back into it, sure enough, I was getting a leak right here. This top radiator tube comes down 90s, then bolts right here on top of the block. And so I was getting a leak right through there on the front side of this casting, between this casting and the little exhaust manifold. And so I took the 4 bolts out, 2 on this side, 2 on the other side, and pried that up and popped that up. And I put that Permatex. Let me see if I can show it to you. Here it is. One form A gasket sealant. And I went and put that all the way around inside there, then bolted it back down. So far, I'm not seeing anything. So we'll wait and see if that stopped it. But sure enough, I found out here a couple of years ago when I was working on my Chalmers WD, this here is for antifreeze, because the black, I was having trouble trying to get that to seal. Well, then I found out that the antifreeze, after a while, will begin to eat through the black. But this, it's kind of like a real. In fact, it looks like chocolate icing for a cake. But anyway, this version here is for antifreeze. And of course, Permatex, they make the brown, they make the black, they make blue, they make clear. And so far, I think that's got it. Wait and see. I'm hoping it kind of squished out like that on the inside. If it did, that means you sealed up good and tight. So, the only thing I got to do now is put the little sediment bowl in here into the gas tank and run the little line from the sediment bowl and tie it into the carburetor right there. And we'll see what happens. Okay, here's the new sediment bowl. I've already put pipe tape on the threads. So, whoop, I forgot I gotta take the glass part off. Otherwise, it doesn't have room to thread into the bottom of the gas tank. Try and set stuff down. That was a little glass bowl, don't get broke. Come on, get in there. So far, I'm not seeing any leaks there on top of the block. However, I do see one leak coming right over here on the top tube of the radiator. I'm gonna have to take and tighten that clamp down. So, okay, that's got this thing started. I'm gonna grab my wrench, tighten him on up, and now I have the sediment bowl put in the thing. Well, I got the top part on. Now, I just gotta get this little wire clip. Come on, sit down in there. Get the little tightener deal on the bottom. Oh. Huh. Okay, well, it's up against the carburetor. Take that little wire clip off and move it to the other side. Come in from the opposite side. I can get to sit down in there. Okay, there's one side, there's the other. Huh. Well, it's still wanting to hit right here on that air intake. Okay, let me grab my wrench. It's kind of odd. The shoulders on this thing are metric, 18 millimeter. I'm not exactly sure why they would have slid up like that. Okay, that's got it sitting on an angle. Okay, now that lets the little wire pivot back and forth. Now you just got to get the little tightener screw. Get the thing set down in there without knocking it off or breaking the little glass bowl. Okay, yeah, it's got the little tensioner underneath it. All right, I think that'll do it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now I just gotta run the little rubber tube. Well, I've got to put, if I can, oh, there. I got some two little hose barbs, and one of those goes into that sediment bowl. The other little hose barb goes into the carburetor. Get you brought over here. Well, you're kind of on an angle. There we go. So that will go in there like that after I put some tape on the threads. Got some tape on it. Let's see if it'll go in that little housing. Come on, get in there. Or so I thought anyway. Hey, there we go. Okay, I gotta tighten this down, then do the same thing to the carburetor side. Put the little hose barb in it. Got the gas line here and the little barb put into the carburetor. So that job's done. And so I just took and put the battery in this thing. Well, a battery that we've had laying around. And so now what I want to do is actually hit the start button and just see if the starter will actually engage. I have no idea. Hopefully it will. I think I told you the old battery I took out of here that was in the tractor when I bought it had a dates code on top of it of 2017. And so that means the previous owner put that battery in 17, and so 17 or maybe 2018 would have been the last time this thing would have run, I'm assuming. But what I have not done, however, is I actually left the spark plugs out because I just want to see if it will actually just free spin with no compression or anything like that. And so, all right, we're in neutral here on the gear shift. The clutch handle is back because if you push it forward, that engages the clutch, and so the clutch is out. So, let's just see what happens here. Well, hey. It works. So, I can hear it spitting out the spark plug hole down there. Let's give it one more bump. All right. Well, at this point, I'm not sure if I'm going to try and start it with the push button, or since I've got to get, I got to put gas in the thing. Now I can get down here beside that spark plug hole. I can smell it, but just the air kind of pushing in and out. But I've got to put gas in the thing, and then I've got to make sure that the float inside the carb is not set to where it's actually wanting to flood out and end up dumping gas right back down into the engine oil like it was when I bought the thing. And so anyway, but like I say, I'll either try it with the starter, and or I may actually have my dad hook on the front and pull it. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, I'll keep you updated here, and I'll just make that, try and get this thing started as part of this video. Yeah, getting the spark plugs put into it. Come on. Well, I hope that's the right size. I sent an old plug back. That way they can match it. Yeah, there we go. Well, we'll get the plugs in, put a little petro in the tank, and see what happens. All right. Now the fun job of getting that boot. Come on. Popped over top that thing. The original plug wire had a just kind of like a little clip thing that just kind of clipped over the top part of the plug. Whereas when I put new wires into it, I put these rubber boots on the ends of them, so we'll see what happens here. Well, maybe. Rubber's kind of cold, so it doesn't exactly want to stretch too well. Took just a little bit of wiggling, but got that in there plugged in. So now I'm going to do the left-hand side and check the carburetor for make sure the float's good, and then I think we're ready to try it. Before I put gas in this thing, now that I've got both spark plugs in, I want to take and actually hit the start button right down here. That guy. And if everything works okay, that rain cap there on top of that exhaust pipe should bounce up and down. Because whereas before, the spark plugs were out, so it just threw all the compression out of the spark plug hole. But now the spark plug's in, it should push compression up the exhaust, and we'll see if that pipe up there hits. So let's take a step on it. Well, okay. First off, make sure we're out of gear, which we are. Here we go. Well, I hope you can see it on camera, but it bounced up and down. That's a good thing. So, well, now I think we're ready to put gas in it and check the carburetor float and then try it. All right, I got gas in the thing. You can kind of see it right there in that sediment bowl. Somewhat. And thankfully, the carburetor is not flooding. I actually loosened up this joint right here where it connects on to the intake, and because if it would have been flooding, gas would have been coming out of that. But so far though, the float seems to be working and going up and shutting the needle valve off, and so that's a good thing. So next thing is to try and start it up. Okay, well, here it goes. We'll try it. Okay, I'm out here on the golf cart. Dad's on the B. Running good. Well, the old John Deere B don't run too bad. However, I do need to work on the carburetor. It seems to want to run just a little bit rough. Gotta get that evened out and it should be good to go. Alright guys, I'm going to call this an end of the video. So take care, thanks a lot for watching, we'll see you next time.